Oh yeah, and Psycho.
I'm just a sick man living in a sick land, choking on the smoke of a billboard romance. Anybody know where the pigs put my cocoa? Change them plates on a pot of blue soda. No, it ain't Johnny Green, not till the gun hits number 3. I'm sick on sick shit, it's just like me.
Never forgotten. This is the anthem for this sick and rotten. Never forgotten.
Welcome back to the October Horror Show. Today we're going to be discussing the Halloween movies 2, 3, and 4.
Yes, so we reviewed the first one last year around this time, so we aren't going to be discussing the first one really. It might come in a little bit while we're talking about the sequels, but yeah, like he said, today is going to be 2, 3, and 4. If you guys are interested, go check out our review for the first movie. So Halloween 2 picks up right after the original left off. Michael has just been shot by Loomis and he's just fallen off of the back porch deck thing on the house. And so it opens with Loomis running out of the house and after he has just noticed that he isn't there. And yeah, I do actually think this was a pretty solid intro, although like this movie wasn't even supposed to happen like at all, so like it surprises me how smoothly it transitions into the next one, because like there was never supposed to be another one in the first place. So but yeah, no,
with that intro, it just kind of going right in there. I think the very first shot, because it does like a recap doing the very end.
Yeah.
I think the very first shot of the new one is Michael actually falling out, because you didn't see like that
'cause you hear the
angle
gunshots.
of
Yeah.
You hear the gunshots and then you see a different angle of Michael falling out, which I thought that they kind of improved the angle and just how they kind of did him falling off and everything. But then like, even though I think this is a solid intro, there was 2 different moments that I laughed while watching this beginning. The first being, because in the original, he looks down and like Michael's gone, he's like, oh. And so with this, they like kind of do that again, where he comes down and he looks, and there's literally like a body print. And it looks more than just a body print. It kind of looks like they spray painted like a body print.
it kind of does actually.
So it's just like, is he that heavy that he's just gonna make this huge indent? It's just kind of funny. I don't know why they felt the need to have this body print. Like it was definitely more than just the grass was pushed down.
Yeah.
It was literally like darker.
Well, because at the very end of the first movie, like you can see the imprint, but when he goes down there, it looks like they like put something there and like, I don't know.
Yeah. And then the second point where there's not really any jokes in this movie. I don't think there's any jokes, at least. There's some like goofier like kind of things that they don't expect you to take seriously, but there's not actual jokes.
No.
But there's probably 3 different moments that I laughed out loud during this. That one being the first like kind of chuckle. The second one being one of the bigger ones was when Lewis goes down and he's like, Michael's gone, and he's like running around or whatever. Yeah, he goes and talks, like the neighbor's just like, what's going on? And he's just like, Michael, whatever he says.
Call
like,
the police.
Yeah, call the police. And he's just like, oh, what's going on? He's like, he says something about death.
Yeah, he's like,
the neighbor does.
He's like, been trick-or-treated to death tonight. And then he's like,
oh, yeah.
You don't know what death is.
Yeah, he's just like, you don't know what death is. And then there's a music cue for him to
Which
like
is an
turn
awesome
around.
spot,
And
but
yeah, the song's good. But you swear that the actor literally heard the music cue, because he's just like, you don't know what death is. And it's like the goofiest, like sudden, like, and then he just kind of
Donald Pleasance, man.
he just kind of like moves around funny as he's running.
Yeah.
His performance in the whole like franchise is great. It's just that moment where it's just so funny. He's just like, there's the music like duh, and then he's just like right at the duh. It's like the way
like
he acts is like he heard it in the
and he was, like,
distance. He's
scared
like,
or
the music is Michael. He's like,
Yeah.
because he doesn't just like, you don't know what death is, and turn around. He does like a.
I can't say I've ever laughed out loud, like, really in any of these movies. Like, I mean, until like the later sequels that we won't really be talking about today. But there is, in the earlier sequels, I've never really like laughed out loud, but there's always been those little moments that I kind of just accept because it's just like whatever. And I feel like that's one of them. It's like I watch it and I've always kind of noticed the way he turns around is just kind of goofy looking, but I've never really like thought about its comedy, I guess.
I just immediately laughed. It was just, I thought
That's
it was
funny.
pretty funny.
And then the whole intro happens, which is really cool. I do like the sort of, you know, they do the traditional from the original, the zooming in on the pumpkin, but it's like it like opens up and splits, and then you see like the skull behind it. I think that's a really cool intro, and the score is really good by John Carpenter. I think, and then I do like that they jump just right after the intro. They jump right into the first person camera as he's walking down. Now it just brings back the original feel again, and that's kind of it was a good way to transition from one movie to the next. And you know, I'll usually only watch the first movie, but I feel like if I were to there's certain times where I kind of want to watch them both back to back because it does feel like it's the same night. Like it feels really like a genuine transition.
It picks up right there. Everything kind of has the same exact look to it. The one thing that I thought was kind of funny is this movie came out 3 years later, but it's the same exact night, and they in their little intro they showed the exact same footage of the previous movie showing Laurie, Jamie Lee Curtis, and then they have Jamie Lee Curtis being carted out. And you can tell that she's older.
Oh yeah,
it's just like, wow, she really aged in like 30 minutes.
She's also wearing a wig.
Oh yeah, she is.
Yeah, yeah. She's in the whole movie. She's wearing a wig because I think this is after she had cut her hair. And so like they had to have a wig on her, and you can tell like the wig has a totally different color. But I mean, I guess it is what it is.
It was just funny because it's like you aged 3 years in 30 minutes.
Yep.
Just the way she got carted off, and like throughout the film, you kind of get used to it, and then you don't really think about it. Just that initial shot, and I honestly,
because it's jarring.
I honestly think I wouldn't have like noticed that, but they literally just showed you that. They're just like, here's a comparison of the difference.
Yeah. They show you the intro or the end of the first movie in the intro, and it's just like moments later you see her.
Yeah. But then it goes on to Michael, you know, doing his thing,
sneaking into Mrs. Elrod's house and taking her knife and leaving the little bit of blood. And
one thing that I thought was almost pointless, I didn't necessarily have a problem, I'm just kind of curious, because like he takes the knife from that lady and then just disappears. He doesn't kill him or anything, he just takes it and leaves, which I thought it was pretty cool. But then it goes to that like other girl that's just on the phone.
Yeah.
And it kind of seems like the vibe I got, I was like, okay, is this girl kind of like be one of the stars of this one, you know, introduce another character because, you know, it's a sequel, but no, she's literally there just to die. And
then this was post Friday the 13th, so John Carpenter said, you know, like when he was like writing the script, he wrote this script in like a night. He said he wrote it with a 6-pack of beer and in one night, and it was just like, okay, this is, people want the sequel, this is what I'm doing. And so like I think he stated that, or at least the producers or something stated that because of Friday the 13th coming out that year, the year before, they had to kind of compete a little bit, and so you got to up the body count and up the gore a little bit. So that's why this one's significantly more gory
that's one thing that I would say is probably one of its lower points is the fact that it's like, you can tell that people are like, this is a slasher.
Yeah.
We're making a slasher. We need to kill more people.
It wasn't
it's
like
a
genre
slasher.
starting.
Whereas the very first Halloween, they were just making a movie. They're just telling a story.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, hey, this is a slasher. Watch this because it's a slasher. But then Halloween 2, the time of Friday the 13th and everything, they're like, it's a slasher. You're watching it because it's a slasher. It's like, how about I'm just watching it because it's a good story?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's kind of odd how that is, and I agree that is one of its lowest points, is trying to up the body count, because what it does is I mean, we'll kind of jump forward because to the hospital, because that's kind of where things are happening in the movie.
That's like the next point.
Yeah, so like the hospital, it kind of like, I do like the setting, and they do a lot of really interesting and really cool looking shots in the movie. Like it is very well lit, just like the original.
Yeah.
But I do think having upped the body count and everything, it like you're having to focus on other characters now while they die, and you take away from Laurie as a character.
That's true.
And it was just really weird. I don't know.
And they didn't really explain like as to like how she knew something was up. It was just like, it's fine that she kind of just had a feeling, but they didn't really focus on that. It was just like, okay, you're as the audience, you're kind of just like, I'm guessing she's having a feeling, instead of them kind of more spending a little bit more time. She's just like, for some reason, knows something's up.
Yeah, he's like definitely alive or something.
But the one thing with her in the hospital that I think is kind of funny is that the ambulance, the EMT guy, that he doesn't actually know her, but he's like befriending her.
They have
or whatever.
like a little moment. Yeah,
it seems like
they know each other, but they don't.
Because he's like, it makes sense because he just like recognizes her, and it would kind of make sense for him to like actually know her, and that's why he's breaking procedure and he's going in her room and he's talking to her. But it seems like the only reason he's doing that is he thinks she's hot or something.
Yeah,
like,
which I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
I want to bone you, so
so this is what's happening.
And then also this whole time, he's an EMT. She's like 17. She's in high school.
Yeah.
But yet he's an EMT. What's the age difference we got going on here? Is he being like a creep right now? Like what's going on?
Exactly. No, and I'm if I remember, it kind of cuts over to Loomis after he has been picked up by Sheriff Brackett, and they are sort of patrolling, trying to find Michael. They don't know where he is. And it leads to the moment that I feel like it's another one of those moments that I talked about, kind of just accepting for what it is, even though it is kind of silly.
This
and
was
that is the
I-
one that you said you laughed at.
I laughed so hard.
So-
I didn't laugh so hard until you find out who it is.
Yeah.
But you can go and explain the scene.
Well, so yeah, Loomis and Brackett are kind of like walking around and kind of patrolling the streets and stuff like that, and they think they see Michael, or at least Loomis does, and so the one who's Michael is Ben Tramer from the first movie, who was like, he had a crush on Laurie, and Laurie kind of had a little thing for him too, but so for some reason they have him be Ben Tramer, and there's this whole scene where he's like, the way it's set up too is like, it's so like, you talked about it and you brought it up to me, and I totally didn't even think about it. It's the same night, okay? So why does he have the mask from Halloween as if it's like a pop culture icon already?
He has the
and
same,
he already has the costume. He has the coveralls for some reason. Yeah, so it doesn't make sense, but at the same time, it's funny.
It's fine that they did it, but it's like, that's kind of odd. And then it's just like, what was his thinking? Like, I'm gonna be William Shatner, the mechanic.
With the mechanic. Yeah. So yeah, he's got his little trick or treat bag, and he's running down the street, and like they're chasing him.
How they chase him, and the way he's just like kind of scooting along.
Isn't it what's happening?
Yeah.
And so he kind of like scoots along, and then for some reason, just like the cop car comes out of nowhere and just smacks him into, and like just pins him in between a van and him, and then they're
lights on fire.
Lights on fire, and they just leave him there. And then Sheriff Brackett asks the number one question: was it him? Well, maybe you could have confirmed that first before running this poor kid over. Considering it's Halloween and people are dressing up, then again, maybe like they acknowledge that it has to be Michael because he's dressed up in the jumpsuit and everything. Maybe it has to be Michael in their eyes, because why would they have a costume of his costume? It's like, but they acknowledge it, but the movie
Dr. Lewis just looks at him a little bit longer while he's on fire. He's like, nah, it's not him.
Well, then they take him back, and then they realize it's not him when they do the dental work or whatever.
That was the part where I started cracking up laughing, because it's like, it's Ben Tramer. I was like, oh my god.
But yeah,
just the fact that they're just like, he's just a mention of a crush, and there's like, let's make it somebody, like, it's not just some random kid. The fact that they go and there's like, it's Ben Tramer. It's like, Laurie's had this like the shittiest night of her life.
Yeah,
she almost got murdered. All of her friends got murdered. You know, maybe the highlight is she has a crush on a boy. Maybe she can reconnect with him. Nope. because Michael didn't kill him. The cops just fucking annihilated him with
No
the van.
love story for her. No happily ever after.
Like
for
it
her.
wasn't just like he's dead. No, the cops just plowed him. He's dead. Sorry.
Yeah, that's it.
He got ran over. That probably killed him. But then, he did get set on fire as well. So, sorry.
Whatever.
Lori.
Yeah, nah.
Literally all your friends are dead now because of Michael and the cops.
And the cops. Yeah. So then, cut back to the hospital, and I think that's, for the most part, that's pretty much where the rest of the movie
kind of
takes
starts
place.
going through Michael going to the
He
hospital.
goes to the hospital, and he's kind of roaming the streets. He goes to the hospital, and he goes and he kills that security guard with the hammer.
I thought that was one of the cooler kills that I've seen in Slashers period.
Yeah, no, it was a really cool kill because it's kind of building the tension because Michael's probably around, but you don't know when he's going to pop up. So, like, he just randomly shows up and it's just whack.
Close the door, and then the fact that it's the teeth of the hammer.
Yeah,
it's not
you
just
see it
the
go
hammer.
into his head. Yeah, that was a really cool
That
effect.
was a pretty,
definitely.
the way they did that, it looked like his head. So.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And then there's the what is his name? He's always cracked me up. The one guy
Is he
who
the other
works,
EMT guy, or
yes,
the one who was trying to have sex with the
Yeah.
nurse?
Yeah.
I don't remember what his name was, but he's just the other EMT guy.
He's
Yeah.
so funny to me. I don't know. He's like the comic
He was-
relief of the movie.
He
He's-
seemed like such a creep. Like,
It's so funny though. I don't know. I think so they go into the spa or whatever, and
Yeah.
then meanwhile Lori's just
hydrotherapy or something like
in
that.
her room.
Hydrotherapy tub.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Lori's just in her room. She's just a side character at this point. And
I guess EMT guys are just horny
They're
little
just-
fuckers.
yeah,
Like
they
he's just
just-
like, I'm gonna fuck this nurse, and then the other guy's like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck.
well,
a
then you
minor.
can tell they know each other because like they're
Yeah.
like they're in and out of there, and you can tell he knows the girl. And then
Yeah.
they go set up their little date in the spa. And then one of the coolest kills of the entire franchise, in my opinion, is maybe even of slashers ever for me at least, is the kill coming up here where the
Is it him or the girl?
the girl.
Yeah.
I think it's a really cool kill.
It was kind of cool how just like he's just getting murdered in the background.
and she's just kind of doing whatever, and then like, and then I love the shot of him walking up to her, and then he like puts his hand on her, and then she like thinks it's the guy or whatever, and then like it's Michael. It's just super cool, and then he just like puts her head in the hot tub and just burns her face. It was a really neat creative kill, I think. Having we talked about the weakest point of the movie, kind of. I have a weaker point, but the one of the weakest points was the upping the body count because it kind of pulled the movie down. But there was some neat kills in here, though, for sure.
At the same time, while I think it lowered the quality of the movie, it made it a little bit more exciting. It made it like it's a different type of entertainment. It made it entertaining rather than invested story. It's just like I was excited throughout the movie more than I was with the previous movie, whereas the previous movie is more about that slow build, like it's creepy, it's got a lot of things going for it. Whereas this was just like have some fun.
Yeah, definitely. No, and then so he kills both of them, and then now pretty much for the most part everybody's out of the way now. So now he can go take out Lori, I guess. And so I know John Carpenter didn't want to, like I said in the beginning, he didn't want to make the sequel, but he did bring in the whole aspect of them being siblings because he wanted to sort of do something that would shock people. And even he's regretted it till today. Like that, he said it was dumb. It gave him a motive, and that takes away a lot of the scare factor of it, because like the whole thing is like Michael Myers is this force of nature that can be coming to you, can come after you, and it's a random sort of freak thing. And when you have them be siblings, it's like, oh, so he's after her because they're brother and sister, okay, and he's trying to finish off the bloodline or whatever. And it was just it sort of waters down the movie for me. I think that's my biggest issue with the movie. I totally understand that became the iconic thing. I get that, but for me, I as a fan of the original and a majority of the sequels, I'll say that kind of that brings the movie down a little bit for me.
I think and also the kind of reasoning of how he didn't know, like Dr. Lewis didn't know, it's just like, oh, the state withheld that file. It's like, why? Like, they didn't actually explain why. They're just like, wonder why. Oh, well.
Yeah, like why would they withhold that? Like,
Yeah,
why would
that
it
just
matter?
seemed kind of weird.
I get it. Like maybe they want to like cover it up so Lori can like stay, sort of like she doesn't, not to have that connection and everything with with her
Yeah.
past. But like,
I don't
mean,
think
and
the
to
file
be-
would be covered up, though.
no, I don't think so. I
Especially
don't know how
from-
they do things really, but I mean, I just don't think that would really happen
Exactly.
unless she was asked to, or unless they were asked to keep it
Yeah.
covered. Which I don't know if they say that in the movie or not, but
Yeah.
But yeah.
that was a little odd. And then we go back to the hospital with Michael killing people. And then one of the deaths that doesn't really make any sense at all, but it's kind of cool, is the nurse in the hallway where
oh, it's a great scene, but
yeah,
it doesn't
Michael
make sense.
has the little scalpel.
Uh-huh.
He just stabs her and then picks her up with this tiny little
Yeah.
scalpel that literally would have just snapped with that
Yeah.
much weight.
Yeah,
And the fact
I like the shoes falling.
Yeah. Because you got several different things going on here. The scalpel itself would snap. Her flesh would rip.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just not going to work
Yeah.
at all. But you know what?
But visually,
It's
it
fine.
looked awesome. It looked cool having Michael standing there just holding her off the ground
Yeah.
as her shoes fall and stuff. And also, I was going to mention earlier, just kind of a quick little thing. The mask, a lot of people say that the mask is a little bit like weird looking in this movie, and it's they don't quite like it as much as the original. By the way, this is the original mask. This is just like this. Deborah Hill would have it like she kept it like under her mattress or something, so like it sort of like ruined the mask, and so
Yeah.
they had to like redo things on the mask, and so that's why it has that really weird kind of yellowish hue to it, and then they had to like redo something to the hair too. That's why it looks a lot different, but it is actually the original mask though, which is
Yeah.
kind of neat.
It still has the same shape, which
Yeah.
I'd say is one of the bigger factors.
And honestly, like I think in a lot of ways, I might think that the mask in 2, even though it's the same mask, I think the look of it in 2, I actually in some ways find creepier than the original, which is a little bit
just
weird.
the fact that it's a little bit dirtier.
Yeah.
It's not clean
Yeah.
like the first one was.
Yeah,
so.
and I think it kind of adds that little bit of kind of like what the new one's doing this year is it's
Yeah,
sort of
the new
adding that
mask
little
looks great.
that age to it, and it's kind of cool. But yeah, I do just going back just for a second. I love the scene where Dr. Loomis has his gun and they're in the car together, and then he's like, go back to the hospital, and then he's like, I'm not obligated to do that, sir. And then he's like, oh yeah, well, and he like shoots out the window or whatever, and you see the car, and then like turns around and goes back. Like that's so. I've always laughed at that. But
Dr. Loomis is
Dr. Loomis
a little
is
nutty.
great. He's so good. But yeah, so then back to the hospital, like you talked about, the nurse getting picked up. Really, visually it looks cool. It doesn't make sense, but visually it looks awesome. And I love sort of like Lori going down the hallway, and then she like looks up, and then she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" or whatever. And then all of a sudden Michael just shows up out of nowhere. Because you have to think like this is the first time she has seen Michael Myers since she saw him shot off the back thing. So then just to have him come around the corner and just stab the nurse, like it's a really cool review, and just like review. But just seeing him come around the corner and like and just stab it's just like, and then look on Lori's face when she's seeing it happen, it's just always got me.
And
it's cool.
But then immediately following is probably one of the weaker plot points is the fact that Laurie's running away, trying to look for an exit while passing 2, maybe 3 different exit signs. Like, she has like the option to go left or right. She goes right, and left had an exit sign, and it's just like, you see exit sign in the background. She walks right by a door that says fire exit, and she's just like wild, being like, I don't know where to go. It's like, look at the sign.
Yeah, unless like, it could have been something as simple as like they were filming the movie and like they just didn't cover up the exit signs. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it just in the movie it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's kinda funny.
that chase though, I think that's specifically just to have a chase. I think there is there's a lot of cool things happening in that chase though, like when she like gets in the elevator and she's like shutting, and he's just walking towards her, and then he like puts his hand in the elevator door, and then just kind of like pulls his hand back out and lets it shut, and then like just the way it was lit, it was all red and stuff. It was cool, and then the shot of him slowly walking down the stairs, it was really cool. There's a lot of visually cool shots. And then sort of following the events of that, I do like there's a couple kills that kind of happen just before this. There's the one where he stabs the girl in the eye with the syringe, or the
technically he stabs him in the temple.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it wasn't. That's true.
He stabbed the doctor in the eye and then stabbed her in the temple.
Yes, and then there was the blood draining.
Yeah,
which
you just find.
Yeah,
didn't actually show it.
I guess. Yeah, it's like he's draining his blood. I guess. And then
the one thing I did find weird was like the EMT guy, slips on the blood in that scene, and then when Laurie gets away, she's hiding in the car, but then he shows up
and he gets in the car
and then he's just like,
he's talking to her, and he's he almost seems like he's out.
Well, he's not even talking to her. She's talking to him, and he's just like.
Doesn't he say something?
No, he doesn't say.
He doesn't say anything. Okay.
Yeah, and so it's like, at that point, is he dead? Is he just passed out? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, because he and obviously the excuse is it's his car, just happens to be his car. That way he can pass out or whatever onto the horn, and does that for Michael or whatever. But get the reasoning behind it. But it's for the movie's sake, it's sort of like, I don't think I've ever quite understood that scene. Leave a comment, those of you watching. Leave a comment, let us know. I've never understood that. And then also, sort of following this after the horn starts going, and then she gets out of the car, and Loomis. This is the part that's always bugged me every single time I've watched it.
The movie.
Yeah, and every single time I've watched this movie, even as a kid, I always was kind of like, why can't? So I guess in a way, I get why she kind of can't scream. She can't I don't know, she's...
There's not... Because she was talking.
Yeah. So if she wasn't talking throughout the movie, I would have maybe been like, oh, well, she was unconscious for a while and she hasn't tried to talk. And so she's so scared that she can't really talk. Yeah. But she has talked. And so she goes to try and scream, but she's crying. And so it's you can't tell me that she can't scream because she's crying. If she's crying...
Literally, they could have easily made that scene make sense by when the doctors were talking to her, being because she did get choked by Michael in the first Halloween, to be you can talk, but because you got choked, you won't be able to
scream or something.
Your voice can't get that loud or something like that. They could have just added some dialogue like that. Yeah. That would have just made sense.
Yeah, because I guess in a way that kind of could be the case here. Maybe she couldn't scream, she physically couldn't, but then she was able to kind of do it
right after the door closes,
and it's sort of convenient for the movie.
Yeah.
But then so then she runs up to the door, right? And then they open it for her, right? Is that how it works, or do they go out and get it?
Yeah. She runs up.
It's just been a while. Yeah. So then she goes up to the door. She goes inside, and they. Another thing too, I kind of would have been cool because of the plot point being their siblings. You never have a moment where she finds out that her brother is Michael Myers.
That's true.
No impact there. I think if you were to add that plot point in there, you could have had a really cool moment where she's like, "What? That's my brother? Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
Because then you could have had maybe a cooler showdown at the end, where it's "Oh, this is my brother." That makes sense. But it's always kind of bummed me out that they brought in that plot point and then didn't really do anything with it. They just did it for shock. But oh, I'm sorry. Am I boring you?
Yes.
But yeah, so and then so they let her in, and then Michael shows up. I do like the shot
where he just straight walks through the door.
He just walks through the glass, and then just cool. The music, it's so cool. And then and throughout the whole movie, he has the almost like a squinty look the whole time, and so it kind of adds to the shadow and stuff. He always looked cool to me in the movie. But anyway, yeah. So goes through the door, and then they put him down, and then for some reason the cop decides he wants to go up to him and say, "Oh, he's not breathing, so he's dead, I guess." And then he goes up to him, even though he just said, "Don't go near him." I guess it's physically impossible for someone to hold their breath in this universe. I don't know, but so he's holding his breath. The killer is holding his breath, and then he grabs him and then slits his throat, and then he gets up and they have the final little chase to the hospital, and they go into the room, which is probably the best scene of the movie in my opinion, where they shoot out, or she shoots out both of his eyes, and then he's holding him and the blood coming down. I love that. It just visually looks cool.
she just happens to have expert aim. And
Yep,
shoot
gets him both
eyes.
But you could like almost
Which
see
is
his
fine.
eyes in it, so it almost like brings in like he's bleeding, and so he starts like holding his eyes, and it kind of brings that more human aspect to him. And then he's swinging it. He still have the scalpel?
At this point, he has his kitchen knife.
Yeah. I could, for some reason, when I was thinking about the scene of him swinging, for some reason I saw the scalpel. And I don't know why.
And then they play a little game of like musical chairs, being like,
they're like turning the things on, which is really cool. I do like that scene. Like the music's amping up too throughout the whole scene, and then like he's like, "Get out!" and then she runs out, and then I love the line, and it gives me chills like every single time I watch it, and even thinking about it, I just love like when he like right as he's about to turn the lighter, he's like, "It's time, Michael," and then he like flips the light, and just, the whole explosion happens, and then Lori runs out, and she's hiding behind the boxes, and seeing him come out on fire was really cool.
That was really awesome.
And then him falling over, and then dying.
This
and,
probably was written to be the death of Michael
This is
Myers.
it.
He's
That's
supposed to be
what
dead.
he said.
Yeah.
Like John Carpenter stated, this was the end for Michael Myers.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of this. And he falls over, and they grab Lori, and they're transporting her to another hospital.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like a majority of the people are dead in the hospital now, so yeah, I guess you have to.
Because for some reason a hospital in the middle of
Is
night,
the emptiest.
in the middle of Halloween night,
Yep.
is only staffed with like 8 people.
Yeah. And 2 of them are
Just
EMTs who want to have sex with women, I guess. I don't know.
It's like, oh, it's just Halloween night. Literally nobody needs us on Halloween night.
Yeah. And then it does. Yeah. Whatever. And then the final shot is is him roasting on the ground, and then and then cuts to black.
Michael's
and it's credits.
dead.
Michael's dead.
The end of the
Dead.
Halloween movies, or so we thought.
Yeah. And then yes.
So at this point, the series they wanted to do as an anthology,
Right.
which I wish did happen.
Yep.
At least we got number 3.
Yep. We get a little hint with 3 of the potential we could have gotten with Carpenter making different Halloween movies every year.
Number 3 is Season of the Witch. It's not connected. No Michael. No previous characters. It's its own thing. The only relation is it's on Halloween Day, which really bums me out that we didn't get more movies of being like this happened on Halloween Day. Just different stories of happening on Halloween Day. But then with 3, it's Season of the Witch, so it's about witches and stuff. I really like number 3.
3 to me is one of the most underrated, like probably horror movies of all time. Like people really misunderstand this movie, and sounds cliche, but like for real though, like they really do. Like people, you have the people on one side that just don't necessarily know why the movie doesn't have Michael in it. They just want it to
Michael?
Yeah, and so it doesn't have Michael Myers in it, and so it's bad, right? No, I actually disagree, and I was like that for a while, and then I found out and did my research and found out why it is the way it is.
Yeah.
And it became probably my favorite sequel out of all of them.
What's funny with it is, well, not necessarily funny, more so a little sad, is you got kind of a double-edged sword going with this movie. You almost wish that they just took off the Halloween title and like the movie was just called Season of the Witch. However, don't have the Halloween title on it, nobody sees it.
Well, there's that, but
You know?
there's also this whole thing it's Halloween. That's the point of it. It's happening on Halloween, so you have to keep the Halloween
But
title
then
on
like
it.
so they have to have the Halloween title. It's on Halloween. However, the Halloween title was what helped this movie, propel,
Sort of.
and then was also this movie's downfall
Yeah,
because
exactly. It's a
the
very
Halloween
interesting
title is what made people be like, yeah, where's Michael?
Yeah.
So it kind of sucks
Yeah.
that it's like, why couldn't people just accept it for what it was?
Totally, yeah. And that what I love about today though is I'm actually in a horror group on Facebook, and all really cool people, and I love the appreciation for this movie in the group, and it's just seeing this movie sort of like gaining the traction that it deserves is really cool. And I was, like I said, I was one of the people that hated on it initially, and I found out why it is what it is, and it's probably my favorite sequel out of all of them, to be honest.
Yeah. Funny enough,
it's so interesting.
So I rewatched all the movies with my girlfriend, and she is not a fan of slashers necessarily. her problem is she hates stupid people, as she says. It's always the
Stupid
people making
characters.
stupid choices. Like with Halloween 2, it really, really bugged her that all the exits were in the background and like she's just running through. So all the like stupid choices that people make, even though I think arguably a lot of stupid horror choices aren't necessarily stupid in the moment. But,
Right.
But it's because you're the viewer, you're like, oh,
You're like, come on.
stupid.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you were in that situation, you might have done the same thing.
Exactly,
But however,
totally.
she really has a problem with that. And so she actually likes Season of the Witch better than 1 and 2, which I'm sure some people would say that's blasphemy.
Interesting.
But I can understand that because I personally, I like number 1 better, but I think Season of the Witch is better than number 2.
I agree 100%.
And as far as the stupid choices that people make, our main character, Dr.
Tom Atkins.
Tom
Dr.
Atkins.
Dr.
He's a doctor. I don't remember his name is.
Yes, I don't remember his name either.
His name
It's
doesn't really
driving me
matter
nuts.
that much. But he does
a
not.
doctor.
He does not make one stupid decision.
Oh, I can think of no.
Not like because like me and my girlfriend were just watching them all at once, like all on the same day, pretty much. We were just watching. I'm like, wait, has he not made a dumb decision yet? And then I was just like started paying attention, and
Yeah.
he didn't make any dumb decisions. There's a plot point that had a plot hole in it later, but that wasn't necessarily a dumb decision. It was a smart decision. It was just like, how did you know that? But we'll get into that.
Yeah. So, Halloween 3.
This movie is about witches, yet not. It's about robots and masks.
Yeah, so I guess there's a villain character named Cochrane, and he's
Yes.
this evil Bond villain that wants to basically wants to commit mass murder of children, bringing back. He says like a quote in the movie something about the streets running red, and he wants like he Halloween is not a celebration of fun or anything like that. It's about the blood running through the streets. And
Pretty
stuff like
much,
that. So
this
he
movie
wants to bring it back.
It brings up the point of what the actual origins of Halloween was with
Which they even
actually being
kind
a
of
witch thing.
Touch on that even in Halloween 2 a
Yeah.
little bit, but
Yeah,
it's
so-
totally not connected.
And then he like explains that there's like every 1,000 years or something like
I
that.
think it was like 2,000 or 1,000, 2,000 something
So
like
even
that.
though he's not like your typical witch, he's almost like in a way you could say a realistic witch.
Yeah.
He's doing witchcraft, but yet he's not like, shooting spells or something like that.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
not
no,
doing your
he's-
Hollywood witch. He's doing like a witch. Like what a realistic
he's like
witch would say.
because it's like frowned upon now, but he just so happens to be the one guy, this much time later that's like trying to bring it back, and it makes it so creepy.
Yeah.
And I guess, starting from the beginning, John Carpenter and Alan Howard's score in this is might be my favorite score of the whole series because.
It was good.
It's really good score, and like I just love the opening. I love how they kind of play around with the sort of classic like pumpkin opening, but it's all like digital and all It's really cool. And then score's really good, and then kind of jump in and the mechanic. I believe he's a mechanic in the opening of the movie.
He's just like running away
is from like a
the
shop or something.
robot henchman.
And I love that opening shot where it kind of opens in the overpass, and then you see him running, and the music kind of picks up, and then like you see the car chasing him. And I love like the way the movie opens. It really sets the tone right away. And then he's trying to hide behind the cars, and
It was kind of funny how he got out of that situation with so he's like hiding behind the car, and then
they show up.
the henchman gets on top of him and starts like choking him out. And there's just something. What was it? It was just like I don't know.
It was a little
rope
chain thing holding the
that's right.
tire.
It was like a chain. So then he like breaks it, moves it or whatever. So then the car that's
Closes
behind him
in
starts rolling, and then hits the dude's back, and then
he kind of just like shuts down.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool though because it was smart in a way because you're like.
I mean,
Why would
in
that
the
happen
moment,
why would that
like,
happen to
do
a
that,
person?
Yeah.
Why would that happen to a person? Like, why would the
Yeah.
person just kind of go like, and then just like shut down? It's, you find out
since
later
he's a robot.
He's a robot.
Maybe,
It's cool. It makes
maybe
it
there's
so much
like
cooler.
a little button or something.
And like,
cut the
it could have
cords,
crushed
I don't
like
know.
something in his arm.
Yeah,
that, like,
it was just kind of funny how how much momentum the car had and how fast it was. Just like boop, and then just like
kinda crushed him a little bit, yeah.
I'm dead.
But yeah, and then he gets up, runs off, and then goes into the gas station Right.
Yeah.
Um,
He's just like rambling about how they're gonna kill us all, blah blah
Yep.
blah, and yeah. So at that point, I think the gas station, the one guy just takes us to the hospital or something like that. Calls cops or something.
Does he like? Does he pass out or something, or does he?
Oh
Like,
yeah, he
isn't
passed
like,
out.
Yeah,
That's
he
right.
passed out of like fear or
That's
something
right,
like
yeah,
that.
He
and
passed
so
out, and then the
take
dude
him-
that was running the gas station took him to the
Take him to
hospital.
the hospital. Yeah.
And then he wakes up and he's on the gurney, and they're like, I think he's like strapped down, so
And
he
he's
can't
holding
move.
the
He's holding
mask.
The mask. And
The
he's
mask,
like, they're gonna kill us all, blah blah blah. And
then-
the same spiel.
And then we are introduced to our lead character, the one and only Tom Atkins from
Yeah.
Lethal Weapon, and he is a doctor at a hospital, and he yeah, pretty cool character. I think he's
Yeah, he's a very solid character.
he's
He's
a
like-
ladies' man.
yeah, he's
for
a
some
womanizer,
reason. But, I mean, you kind of respect him for that.
Yeah.
It's cool.
What's kind of funny is just like when he initially like he has interactions with his ex-wife, and they don't really like full on say it's his ex-wife at first. Like it's like, are they just having like a little bit of issues or like what's going on? And then
Yeah.
he's like hitting on these other women. It's like, are you a dickhead? And
Yeah,
then it's like,
yeah.
oh wait, he's divorced. Okay.
yeah, 'cause
Okay,
it
you
goes the
go
opposite
get them ladies.
She's like calls him like talking about the kids or whatever, and so he's like, "Are you gonna come see the kids or whatever?" And so you're
Yeah.
kind of like, "Are they married still?" Like,
Yeah.
But he's just hitting on like everything and everything that's moving, anything female.
So, yeah, I'm done, man.
But yeah, and then the gosh, I love the atmosphere of this movie. Like just the feel and the look and everything, like the way it was shot and everything was so good. And like when he comes in, the henchman, robot henchman, comes in and he goes into the room and then with his glove and he like presses.
I don't even know what he does exactly.
Well, 'cause
He
you see
just,
the nose, like-
Well, yeah, he definitely breaks his nose.
But does he like push it into like his?
Kinda. He's like he's grabbing it, like right there, and he's like just kind of squeezing. So like, but then
I always
they have
thought he
him-
was pulling.
Well,
but-
yeah. Well, at first he's squeezing, and then he like kind of pulled. Like you can see it's a prosthetic. Like the nose kind of comes out, and then he like kind of kills him at that point. I don't know if he was like pulled like break the nose out and then pushed it up.
Yeah.
You know, into his brain or
Yeah.
something like. I'm not really sure what's going on.
But it just shows
exactly.
his strength, how he was
Yeah.
able to just do that with his. That's so.
Yeah.
I love
then
that.
he's like slightly squishing his fingers into his eyes a little bit.
Yeah.
It's
and he's done.
it's odd, but it's kind of cool. It's
Yeah.
like I don't know
It's-
exactly
it's
what just
cool
happened,
looking.
but I'll accept it.
yeah,
like,
it's really
I'm-
cool looking.
That's reasonable that would kill somebody.
Yeah, no, it's like really cool looking and it's really cool to watch. And then like when the nurse goes in there and finds him as he like walks out and he's like wiping his hand off or whatever,
Yeah.
and he walks out and then Tom Atkins runs in and chases after him and then he
Yeah.
just goes pours gasoline on himself in the car and blows himself up. I just think that's super cool.
Super
Like
cool.
it's like a self-destruct kind of thing. Like oh no, I'm like they found me. I need to dispose of this. Like this is really cool. I do like that a lot. And then Tom Atkins goes into the bar and he's sitting there having some drinks and he kind of a cool scene. I believe this is where one of the 2 times where the actual Halloween movie is up on the
Yes.
is up on the TV and he's like flip the channel and he, like they flip it over or whatever and it's then they do the Silver
Yeah, it's
Silver
either
Shamrock.
Yeah, it's either playing the Silver Shamrock commercial or the original Halloween movie, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And then yeah, so then he leaves there, and then he ends up coming across the daughter of the guy who just died.
Yes.
What is her name? I don't remember her name now.
Don't remember.
And then so they kind of get acquainted, and they're gonna go to the town
they
where
just wanna-
supposedly
they just want to figure out because she had some leads.
as
that her
to
dad was over there or something.
well, yeah, and then there was like the mask and everything, and
Yeah.
might have something to do with that. So we have to let's go over to the town where
So
the company
they
run.
go to a motel and then they
Really-
do a little distract
Very
the
creepy.
motel guy, and then he goes and looks at the books and finds that her dad did stay at this motel that's
Mm-hmm.
right by the Silver Shamrock place.
And then yep, they're staying there, and then there's this really like the family with just the asshole kid.
funny.
Just kind of an asshole, but I gotta have the asshole kid in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then they're staying in there. Love the music throughout the entire movie, but just like it sets the tone for every single scene.
days to Halloween.
No, but then like just like the look of the town too was so creepy, like the company town, like you just sort of having like the whole town's like under control by the company pretty much. Like it was so weird and like so like they have a curfew at 6 and all that, and like by the way that was Jamie Lee Curtis talking over the comments like 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's
Jamie
cool.
Lee Curtis, yeah. So that's kind of neat. And then one of the coolest visuals of the movie and just overall like one of the coolest scenes, there's the scene where not this scene, but I'm getting to it. Tom Atkins and the girl are I mean, I don't know how many years this guy's got on her, but I guess they're gonna have sex. I don't know. And then
Yeah, he was probably closer to her, like her dad's age.
yeah, but yeah, he definitely is probably much older than
Yeah,
her.
he's just like, I guess I can get another room. She's like, because I don't really want to sleep on the floor. And she's like,
Like, well, where do you want to sleep, doctor?
and he's just like, okay, and just starts fucking making out.
I guess.
Like, he just knows the cues. He's just like,
Yeah.
he doesn't know. He's not gonna just be like.
He's not gonna ask.
He's not gonna
No
be
questions.
like, well, I want to sleep in the bed with you. He's not gonna. He
not
doesn't
gonna
even
question
say
it.
anything.
He's
He's
not
just
gonna
like,
question it.
I know what you're getting at, bitch.
Yeah, yeah, just go for it. And then
So funny.
It just shows how cool this guy is. But
Yeah. Just like, yeah.
then there's the mom of the douchey kid over, right? No,
there was
totally different person.
Yeah, totally different person. It was just some random mother lady that was staying
Yeah,
there, and she's got her own store, and so she's there. She has to pick up an order there.
Yeah, and so
because
she was
having a shipment
she has the mask,
problem.
and she's like messing with the little label falls off, and so she's messing with it. This is like one of the coolest visuals of the
Yeah.
movie. It's terrifying looking, like it's very creepy, and like the prosthetic was really awesome, like really well done. It looks real. She's like messing with it, and it just shoots out some weird like laser thing, and it
Yeah.
cuts. And then like Tom Atkins, she's like, "What was that?" And Tom Atkins is like, "Who cares?"
Just like,
It's like I guess he's heard like a laser off in the other room, and who cares?
yeah,
Whatever.
just like, who cares? They got some ass. So.
Yeah, whatever. And then I guess that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then it cuts back to her, and her face is
Face
just
all-
like open. Oh,
yeah.
it's just gross, but it's so cool. And then like I'm pretty sure after that cuts the next morning, and like they're taking her away or whatever, and they say she
Yeah.
like died by the. Did they say they? Knew
I don't
how
even think
she
they
died?
said she died. I think they were just taking her.
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah,
he's just
she
like,
wasn't dead,
where are you
right?
taking her? Like, well, I think she was dead, but they weren't telling
Yeah,
him that.
yeah.
And they're just like, oh, we're taking her to the factory and stuff. It's like, why'd you take her to the hospital? It's like, we have the best medical like advancements over. It's like, why the fuck do you have that there?
Yeah. And then.
And then he like backs away slowly. There's a lot of backing away slowly in this.
Yeah, well then, gosh, after this is kind of where the movie gets a tiny bit fuzzy for like a few minutes. Well, then they don't do anything. Is this the day where they go and visit the factory?
I believe so.
They go, yeah, because they go to the factory first before night happens, and like the guards come after him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like then they go and
they
visit
go to
the factory and,
first, and then they
just
because they go to the factory and then they find the car, and so then that's when
Yes.
they deuce out, and so that's when they know that they know
yep,
something's up.
Exactly, and then that's when you first get introduced to Cochran, who's this very like Cochran. Really cool villain and introduction and everything like that. Then there's the scene, and I don't remember in the order of events of the movie. When the guards, so Tom Atkins goes and sits with that guy or whatever, and the homeless guy, and then he goes back into his house, and
they
then the
were about
guy's
to
like,
murder the homeless guy.
this place sucks. You guys are crazy, blah blah blah. And he's like insulting him, and then they show up and just like take his head off. Like it's
Yeah.
insane.
They're
Like
just like, well, we're just gonna tear your head off.
they just like pin him down on the
Okay.
ground and they just pull it off. I was like, it's crazy. He's dead. And then I believe this is the same evening where next like really cool sequence, my favorite part of the movie, when they're in the motel room and they're trying to figure out what they want to do, and she goes to the. Does he go to the room to the front desk, or does she? Because somehow they get split up.
Yeah, they get.
I don't remember exactly what happens.
I think it was actually when he interacted with the homeless dude, and then he comes back to the motel, and she's like gone.
Okay.
I think that's what happened. If I
don't
remember right.
exactly
Oh,
remember
it doesn't matter
that
too much,
specific.
but-
But yeah,
So then she's like just gone.
Yep. And then yeah, and then like
And then the henchmen show up. for
one of the
him and
coolest
stuff.
shots of the movie, in my opinion, is when he looks out and it's like "Brrr," the music, and like there's in a line standing there. I love
Yeah,
that shot, and
that's
it's
cool.
dark and stuff. And then they start walking toward him, and then he climbs out of the back window, and then they get in their car and they're like chasing after him, and he's like hiding in bushes
Yeah.
and running through the town and like trying to hide and stuff. That's a really cool scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes up to the factory, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
And then he has
Sneaks
that
in.
little fight with the with one of the henchmen.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
he's like punching him, and then
Yeah.
he's just walking toward him.
I think
It's
he
just not
like he
affecting
keeps
him.
punching him, and I think his hand
Punches-
goes in his gut or something.
Yeah, he's punching him, and then the guard gets him down onto the ground, or gets him down onto a table or something like that. He's
Yeah.
like choking him, and then he like punches him in the stomach, and his fist goes in, and
Yeah.
so he like pulls it out, and there's the green goo stuff with the
Yeah.
wires, and then he just like shuts down on him, and then the other ones show up and take him and put him in the room, and then we get the family that was
The little asshole kid.
the little asshole kid, and the family is
his
was
number one
working-
seller.
yeah, was
of
working
his
for-
masks.
for Cochrane, yeah, and he comes in, and they have them in a room, and this is where you get your first glimpse of what.
They're gonna do some screenings of some test like advertisements, so he wants their opinion. So
Mm-hmm.
it gives them a little piece of paper, and they lock him in a room, and they're like, this is kind of weird, but they're like, whatever. And the TV turns on.
Yeah, and
he's
this is
just
sort of like,
"I'm
this is
gonna-"
their
and
prize.
Cochrane's like, I'm gonna show you
Yeah.
what I'm a test or whatever.
Yeah, and so they're like, this
And-
is like their prize, is they get to view it first or whatever, like they get to
Yeah.
firsthand because he's the top seller.
Yeah.
And then
Wants his opinion and stuff.
yeah, and then the kid puts on the mask, and you get your first glimpse of what this evil man is doing, and the Silver Shamrock commercial comes on, and then the kid starts kind of grabbing at the mask, and then he falls over, and bugs and insects and snakes and stuff start
And his
coming out of
wife
the
just
mask, and
passes out.
the wife just passes out, I guess, and then
Yeah.
and then the dad does he
Yeah,
get like
the snake comes over and bites him.
yeah, that's what I thought. And I just think one thing I do like is I feel like nobody questions like the bugs and stuff coming out, but I don't think I think it's super cool that nobody does, because it's so creepy. The idea
Yeah.
of that even happening is that like you almost just don't want to question the
Oh,
fact
yeah.
that it's happening. It's just it's super cool.
It's witchcraft.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
witchcraft,
just
so
like-
that's the explanation. But it's cool though.
Snakes
I
go
do
along
think
with witchcraft.
I do think it works.
Definitely creepy that it's a kid that they just killed. Like,
Oh
it's
yeah,
crazy.
no, totally. Like they just they don't even care in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could tell like John Carpenter wasn't even holding back. Like it was like they're just doing this.
Yeah.
And well, actually, I mentioned John Carpenter. I think there was I think Tommy Lee Wallace directed this movie, but John Carpenter was the original director. And then they had somebody else come in and work on it, and then they had Tommy Lee Wallace come in and work on it. He's the one who's credited, but as far as I know, I think Tommy Wallace is credited, but John Carpenter did a lot of the work.
Yeah, he kind of
but he wanted to
took
take
like
his
a
name.
producer seat. Didn't
Yeah.
he?
It was something
Yeah.
like that. He wanted to like take his name off because something happened. They got into like a big spiel and something happened, and he
okay.
wanted his name taken off. So they took his name off of it, even though John Carpenter did do some of the directing, as far as I know. But he did
Yeah.
do the score with Alan Howarth, and it's really cool. But yeah, back to that scene. So while that's happening, they have Tom Atkins he's in the room strapped down to the chair,
Yeah.
and you get sort of the motive scene.
That's right. And then Cochrane kind of explains. That's when he explains the
every 2,000
everything blah blah blah. It's child sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the whole point of this is. And so then he's gonna do the same thing to him. He puts a mask on him and turns on the TV.
And it's that original Halloween,
Yeah,
which is
that's
really
right.
cool. And then he's like, "Oh, and happy Halloween," and it's really just like his little
right.
line. He's got to say it, and then
Yeah.
he walks out.
And then does he gets a hand free first or something like that because he's like strapped down.
I think
Or-
something like that, or he somehow gets the mask off of his
Yeah,
head.
he gets the mask off, and then the most incredible toss that you've ever
How many
seen
times
in your
do they do
life.
that, do you think?
Who knows? I mean, with the actual shot, they probably were just like a foot away and just kind of like threw it on.
Yeah.
there. It's probably
That's
a
true.
couple
That's
times.
very true.
But so he's like in this room right here, TV's right here. In the corner, there's a camera watching him, and he like is able to get the mask off while his hands are strapped down, and he just like
Tosses it onto the camera and just goes
It's
right on it.
perfect on the camera.
Yeah, yeah.
It's in the corner of the room, like
Yeah.
however many feet away. It's
Yeah.
like pretty far.
It's cool. He's Tom Atkins.
Well, yeah, he's Tom Atkins. Like hands, like hands completely free.
Mm-hmm.
Even being able to throw it that far and getting it perfectly on there with no limitations, just being at that distance
Is just crazy.
Super difficult.
Yeah.
but he has his hands. He's just like
just throws it
flick
on.
it wrist.
And then he gosh, how does he get out? I don't even remember. how
He just like I don't know. He just kind of breaks out. I don't remember.
I don't.
Oh wait,
remember either.
first he kicks the TV. He goes up to it
Yeah,
and he
that
just
way
puts
it does.
his feet right through the TV so he doesn't
I don't
get his head
remember.
melted or whatever.
I don't remember how he gets out. Does she come in and see?
No,
No.
he goes and saves her.
Yeah.
He just gets out. And
Because
then,
this is like the finale of the
yeah,
movie.
and then he
pretty
sneaks around, saves her, and then they sneak around. Some of the cameras spot him, and so then a bunch of guards are after him. There's a bunch of guards now, and then they get back to like the little control room where Cochran is, and there's the Stonehenge in there for some reason. They're just kind of like, yeah.
He
this is a-
explains something about that, but I don't remember.
It's just like
the
something
details.
about there's a bunch of power in
With
it,
it.
like so it's pretty much what they're getting at is this is a actual like witchcraft thing. That the
Yeah.
Stonehenge is
Yeah,
all
it's
that was
gonna make
witchcraft.
everything work.
Yeah, so there's some sort of witchcraft power in it. And
Tom
then
Atkins and the girl are sort of going through, and this is Halloween night. Speaking of that, I did want to mention the. I love the scene where the Silver Shamrock is playing, and it's showing all the kids from around the world going to get their masks.
Yeah.
So like because this is after you know what's happening, so then you're
And they're
seeing all the
getting
kids.
ready. It's
Yeah,
like,
and so it's like
remember,
all these
kids
kids are gonna
coming
die.
up and
all these
stuff,
kids are
yeah.
gonna die, and so it's like,
yeah.
and I love
at
like
this point it's like he does not have much time. Like,
no, yeah, exactly, and so
I
there's
think
like,
it's like he has 30 minutes or something.
yeah, and then so like there's that, but then there's like for some reason there's like still there's like the get ready for the shipment or whatever. So like they're gonna ship out more of the little labels,
Yeah,
even though
yeah.
it's about to happen.
They already had other things
Whatever.
that happened where they're like, this is going, like, they have other things where they talk about that it's like, oh yeah, at this point you're gonna disappear. You're not planning on this company lasting. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's pretty obvious that it wouldn't work, and they say a couple things that you just assume that he knows that, but then they also have that, so it's a little funny.
Yeah, because they're like
Yeah.
going through the
but
boxes
then,
and like
but yeah,
sneaking
but
through
then
them.
there's the biggest plot hole that's in the movie that doesn't make sense is he gets a box of those little tags
And they're
that
up in the
where
rafters,
the
yeah.
witchcraft is apparently like in there, and then he gets above all the guards that are in the control room, and then he dumps it, and then the things like do their little like because it's like because they're. First, he turns on the commercial
and
to
they're
do
all-
another
they're in a
test. So
circle.
then they're like, "The fuck? Why is this playing?" And so then, right when it does its little thing, then the things activate and kill all the guards. And the plot hole is that how the fuck did he know that would do that? And because the audience knows that would happen because that's what happened to the lady. They don't know. He doesn't go in and investigate, find the tag, and be like, "Oh, this is it." Like. He doesn't know that's what it is. As far as he knows, it's just the mask. But, like, he did watch the test video, but he
Unless-
doesn't know that it was the tag.
Unless he's walking through and like he just somehow notices it on the tags in the boxes, like maybe like they just I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
I mean he's Tom Atkins, maybe he just pieces
Tom
it all
Atkins.
together.
Maybe he just read ahead
pieced it
in the
together.
script. Like,
Maybe he just pieced it all together and he knew. I could not tell you that one.
Yeah.
I have no idea. And then they get up in the rafters and they throw the box down there and it's like sparking and then it
kills all of them.
Kills all of them, and then it starts up and the laser goes.
yeah.
And then I love his little
So it
his little
turns-
clap.
Yeah, so then he Cochran
Applauding.
saw them. He's like, "Good job, good play." I'm Cochran. And then, for some reason, a little circle light appears above the dead bodies of the robots, and then the stone starts to light up as well, and Cochran's standing in between, and then a beam of light shoots from the circle to the Stonehenge, and right in that beam of light is Cochran's
Cochran.
head. And so it's just like does it real quick, then it goes away, then he kind of looks like, I don't know, kind of like really white for a
He
second.
like turns almost to like stone or something.
Yeah, he like
and then
turns
he
to
just-
stone.
and then
pretty-
he vanishes.
Yeah, he just like
He doesn't,
do
like,
that
crumble.
slow fade disappear.
He, like, vanishes.
They do that, and they don't explain that at all.
Well, because I'm trying to think of
I
like
don't know what that.
because they had all the
means.
TV set up. So what exactly were they doing with the TVs? Because maybe they were gonna, like I don't know, like were they were setting up the TVs? Do you think they were doing that? Were they gonna play the commercial?
I don't know.
And, like, maybe that
that's
was gonna
why
be
the
part
TV.
of the-
That's
that-
why the TVs were there. Was they?
Well, they were gonna
They're
play
getting
it.
ready to play the commercials.
And like so, like they were gonna broadcast it and do what do all that. But like were they attempting to do that in the first place, and they just so happened to be in the wrong place?
Yeah.
Like, were they actually going to do the Stonehenge lighting up, and that was that all supposed to happen?
was that gonna happen? I don't know.
And like they were
But
just
then-
they weren't supposed to be in the way.
Yeah, maybe. And well, that's the thing.
Well, what
though,
was I
is-
going to do though?
That's the thing though. Was Cochran just in the way, or like the Stonehenge is powerful? Maybe the Stonehenge has its own little evil personality. You know, was this the stone being like, "You failed. I'm going to take your soul now," or
Yeah.
something?
I don't know.
Or was it like, or was it like, I'm going to absorb you because that's what I do
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, is I absorb people? Because like, the kids are supposed to be sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you could say that their souls are going to go to the stone. So was like the stone its own like personality? It's like, you fucked up. I still need my sacrifice. You'll do. You're my sacrifice. Is that why?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, if
It
any of you
doesn't
guys
actually say anything. I'm
if
really
any of you
curious.
guys watching kind of know the answer to that, I mean, it could be something super simple and we're both just dumb. I don't know. But I mean, like, he brought it up to me a while ago and I'd never really thought about it. And then he brought it to my attention and I was like, yeah, that kind of, what does that mean? So yeah, if any of you guys, caught it in the movie or know something, just let us know. Yeah, I mean, maybe it does have something to do with witchcraft and you're supposed to know some things about witchcraft going into the movie.
Maybe.
And so maybe like
I don't know.
other people who know about it know. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm genuinely curious, and I want you to tell me if you know, because I really don't.
Yeah.
There's just maybe that's the point. You're only allowed to speculate. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, could be. I mean,
Yeah.
and then Cochrane defeated, and then
Yeah.
they're in the car,
So
and
then he's
she.
like, "We gotta go to the TV station broadcast. I don't know. We gotta get to a phone."
Yeah.
And then it's revealed
that she's a robot.
she's a robot lady now.
Which people have debated for a very long time. When was she turned into a robot?
I think she was a robot the whole time from the moment not the whole time, but like from the moment he went and saved her when they had her like tied up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why would she be helping him before
Well, because there's
that?
people that think that she's been a robot the whole time, just as speculation.
Yeah.
Just as like a sort of
Maybe.
theory.
I feel like that wouldn't really make sense though.
Yeah, it could be interesting to think about.
Because
but
it was pretty much her being there which propelled him to do all the things that he did. Because if she wasn't there, odds are he wouldn't have saved the day like he did. So
yeah, so what would
if
be
she
the
was
point?
a robot and Cochran did that on purpose, and Cochran's an idiot,
Yeah.
and he shouldn't
Yeah.
have done that. So no, I think
Well, he did stand in front of the laser. So.
yeah, that's true. I think that I'm pretty sure that they grabbed her, they might have killed her or something, and then because he purposely showed the doctor footage that he's just like, oh, she's all right, she's right there, all tied up. But reality is they killed her. That's the robot. So
robot,
he's
yeah.
just like, so if you get out, I want you to be tricked and save her. Blah blah. So he had like a backup plan in case.
In case Tom Atkins did get out. Yeah, that's
he's just
very
like, you are
interesting.
Tom Atkins after all.
But yeah, so then they're in the car and she is now a robot, and he like looks over at her and she like grabs him, and
yeah,
then
she'll grab his face or something.
and then they like I think
Crashes
he
the
stops in a
car.
crash. Yeah, and then they're having their little fight or whatever, and one thing that's never made sense, and they do it in a lot of movies, so I won't fault this movie for it, but they do it in a lot of movies. He gets her arm off, but the arm has a force of its own. There's no physical thing that's pushing the arm onto his face. It's just the arm. So you could go throw it on the ground.
Yeah.
There's no force behind it. It's just the arm. So like, doesn't make sense. But I'm not gonna fault the movie for that.
it's fine.
Other movies do it, so like whatever. But that's kind of like always kind of thrown me off a little bit. But they have their fight and everything,
And he,
and she keeps coming back.
Chops her head off, and then the body comes back while it's like squirting all its robot juices.
Yeah, it's a kind of a cool scene because it's to like
Yeah, it's pretty
it's
cool.
to prolong like, okay, he has to like get to a phone quick,
Yeah,
and
then
like
now there's
this
this
robot
robot.
won't stop coming after him, and now he doesn't have help because she's gone. So it's like it's a really crazy, crazy.
So then
thing.
he takes care of her. I don't remember exactly what the final blow was,
Me
but
either.
Gets her out of the way, and then goes back to the same exact gas station that crazy dude went to, and then he calls up the TV station.
Here's the number on just right there.
which
He's got it.
would work back then. If it was modern day, you're just fucked.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, so then he's just like, blah blah blah.
He's
you
like-
just need to turn it off.
Turn it off, and there's two kids that are
I think
sitting
he like
right
says something
there.
about terrorists. Like
I don't know if he does.
he says something that's
Yeah.
like that kind of makes the TV station be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, well, there's like, I mean, of course, because you'd have to, but I don't remember
Yeah.
specifically what he says. But there's like two kids sitting in front of the TV
Yeah.
in this shop, and so it's like he's about to watch them die, and
Yeah.
like,
And then they turn off. He's like, oh, dear God. And then the kid
Then the kid,
gets
like,
up,
goes and-
changes the station, and then it's on the other
like, "It's on
station.
channel
and he's
two,
just
it's on
like,
channel two."
We're off. And then the kid
turn it off.
The kid's just like it turns off, and the kid's like, oh man, fuck that. And then he goes to 3, the last like third station.
And like the third station that needs to go off, and he's like, that
It's on
third
the
station's
third
still on.
station.
Third station's still on, and then they won't.
Turn it
It's not
off.
shutting off. It's not shutting off. And then he's like, stop it, stop it, stop it. And then he screams into the phone, and then it cuts to black. Did the
That's-
kids die? Did
Yeah.
they? I think so. I like to go with the darker ending and say
Yeah.
yes, they died. I don't think they shut it off. Because I think
Probably
if
not.
yeah.
Because I
love
mean,
the
if they
ending.
shut it off, that would have just been. It would have been like, oh hey, save the day. He'd be like, oh,
Thank you.
hey, I'm Tom Atkins. Time to go get some more ass. But the fact it cuts off right there, it's like we just killed tons of fucking kids. We're not going to
Mass
show that,
murder.
obviously. So
Mass
we're going to cut off right here. So
Mass
yeah,
murder.
I agree. It's the dark ending.
I
is
love
what
the
happened.
dark ending, and I love the idea of Cochrane like succeeding in the end. I love that, and so it's like when he is sitting there and he turns into stone or whatever, and then fades, he almost has like a little smirk on his face, and so it's almost like he knows or something.
Yeah.
Like he somehow knows that no
Because
matter
like
what,
maybe he
can't
got
shut it off.
absorbed into the stone on purpose. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
who knows? But I mean, he still succeeded. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's a really crazy thing. I love this movie. I think it's a really
It's a great
good movie. I think they all did a great job in it. I think John Carpenter, Tommy Lee Wallace, Alan Howarth, all of them, everybody involved. This one's really good. It might be my favorite sequel out of the entire series, if not 100% my favorite.
For sure, it's my favorite.
yeah.
I think that it's almost like it's pretty close to the original, just because
It's so unique.
it's so unique. You can't, like, as far as an action movie, you can't really compare it to the original
Yeah.
because it's something
It's so
completely
different.
different.
Yeah.
But you can compare it in the ways
Because
of how
it's-
much
because
do you
it's-
personally like.
Oh yeah, and because it's in the same series, you almost have
Yeah,
to.
you almost have to compare it. But
Yeah.
the fact that it's completely different, you're just like kind of forced to be like, to each their own, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
And for me, it's like Halloween's just above it by a notch.
Yeah, and that's because the original Halloween
yeah.
is just like, I would
Yeah.
say aside from like a couple tiny little nitpicks of the first movie, it's
Yeah.
one of the.
'Cause-
It's probably the best.
Yeah.
One of the
the
best horror movies of all
the
time.
thing that I really like about number 3 is it's more of a drama than the other ones. Like, yes, it has its kills and stuff, but it's pretty much like a mystery, like almost crime mystery drama movie.
They're like trying to
And-
piece things together, and it's
Yeah.
just so creepy. I
And
love
so
the
it's
vibe.
cool just to be along for the ride, be along for the mystery solving. Like, it's enjoyable. I
Because
like
you're it's intriguing right off the bat on like what this all means. you
Yeah,
know?
because ultimately I like it. The reason my reasoning for liking it so much are completely different reasons for liking the original Halloween so much.
Exactly.
So that's one reason why it's kind of hard to say like this one's better because this reason. It's completely different reasons. It's better for that reason because you personally like that reason better. You know, it's like I said, to each
Exactly.
their own.
That makes sense.
So,
But yeah,
even
so
though
that
this
was-
one bombed, it's like
I'm glad it's getting
Yeah.
the love that it's getting now. It's definitely a cult classic for sure. It's definitely getting the love it deserves.
Yeah.
But that was Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Now, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers.
bum, 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 our final topic of discussion.
This one takes place after 2. Obviously, of course, completely disregards
Yeah.
3. That was our little anthology taste. Now we're back with Michael Myers.
Yeah.
And so this one is has Danielle Harris as Jamie Lloyd. She is playing. She's basically. Not basically, she is Laurie's daughter. So Laurie, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah. And
the daughter-
they just kind of say she's dead.
Yeah,
like,
she died in
they
like a
don't-
car accident or something.
Did they actually say that?
Yeah, no, they said
Okay,
that.
I must have missed that part.
I think they did in 4. Yeah, so the unless that's a later sequel, it could be.
Maybe.
But yeah, so this one opens 10 years after the second movie. I'd just like to say right off the bat, this is my favorite opening probably of the entire series. I love
Okay.
the opening intro of this movie, the landscape, the colors, the way it looks. It really gives the fall Halloween vibe that I feel like you would look for in a movie like this, and just the ambient music and just like how it kind of amps itself up to the Halloween theme, and like just seeing the scarecrows and the pumpkins and the farm equipment and all that. It's just the way they open this movie is so
Yeah.
creepy, and it's like
It's Halloween time.
yeah, and it's like it's very peaceful, but because you know it's Halloween, there's that sense of like
Yeah.
eeriness to it.
How
you
long
know?
is it going to be peaceful?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so cool. So you know it's Halloween, and I've always loved this opening. I just unexplained. I don't know
Yeah.
how, or I don't know why I liked it so much. Even as a kid, I liked it a
Yeah.
lot.
And then it
Something about
goes to Michael being, transported or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the one thing I don't understand about this is 10 years later. You want to say he's alive, okay, whatever. Why does he still have bandages all over
Remember
his
when
face?
I told you? Remember when I told you when we were at the store, and I was like, "There's one thing in this movie that doesn't quite make sense, and I want you to tell me if you pick up on it." That's what I was talking
That's-
about.
oh, that's what you're talking
Why
about.
is
Yeah.
he still wrapped in gauze?
Those burns
This
are
is
real
10
bad
years
10 years later. Yeah.
And he's still wrapped in gauze.
The fact that he's completely wrapped in gauze, whereas then you see Dr. Loomis, and Dr. Loomis has got some scarring.
But he's not wrapped in gauze
Mm-hmm.
because he's. Oh, first of all, he's alive. Okay, but like,
It makes more sense that Michael's alive, because it's Michael.
yeah.
But Loomis,
Loomis is around to be Dr. Loomis because
Yeah.
it's Donald Pleasance and he's cool, but that's.
but
there's
then,
no-
like, at the same time, Michael at least walked out of the flames while he was on fire. Dr. Loomis was still in the burning
roasting.
room.
He's roasting. I mean, he has a scar on his face, so like he
it's a
did get
decent-
burned.
But it should be like that, but his entire face.
He did get burned in some way, but like, so he got out, I guess. I don't know, but
There's like a little trap door that he's just like, haha.
there was actually I watched a documentary on Halloween 4, 5, and 6, I believe it was, and it was on YouTube. You guys can watch it; it's really cool. They talk about how they were going to open this movie with the explosion in Halloween 2,
Okay.
and it was going to show you sort of like how like Loomis got out or something like that, and I think that's really interesting.
That would have been kind of cool if it actually did that.
Yeah, they originally wanted to do that, but then they kind of went away from that and did the opening they did, which I appreciate a lot.
Who knows? Maybe it's just because of the budget.
Yeah.
Getting some B-roll of a farm is a lot cheaper than an explosion.
And it's effective.
flames
It's
and-
very
yeah.
effective. Yeah, and I totally. That's a really just cool, cool opening that they sacrificed. I
Yeah.
guess that never happened, but yeah. So then we get him still wrapped in gauze a decade later, and for some reason, maybe his burns weren't healing properly.
Maybe.
But So they're transporting him over to Smith's Grove from the. They're after us. From the first. From the first movie.
And they're just like, why didn't you get Dr. Lewis's push or whatever? Yeah.
And of course, when they're going down the elevator, going to get him, they have the exposition guy who is explaining everything, just in case you didn't see the first two movies. Yeah, they,
just in case.
just in case this is your first time here, Halloween 4. But yeah, no, they transport him, and first kill is in the back of the ambulance.
Shove my fucking
shoves his
thumb in your forehead.
And so right off the bat, it's like this is a little bit gorier than the first two.
I wonder how that scene came about, like how they decided let us shove it in his fucking forehead.
Show his strength.
Like,
I don't know. Like he's angry.
Like that would have made sense. Like literally, it's not the center for it. It's like right here, where it's like just a little bit lower as the eye, and that would have made sense. Put it right there, right in the center of his skull.
Yeah, I mean it looks cool, but yeah, I mean it's I don't know.
At the same time, it doesn't even show it for very long.
No, you see like the blood come through a little bit.
Shoves it in, and I'm curious, did they just like he just bent like his thumb, and they just did that, and they just had blood?
I think they were originally gonna have
it. Did look there was some prosthetic going on.
Yeah, they were gonna do. It was gonna be gorier, but they cut it down or something.
Makes
like
sense.
the guy said that he didn't want, or no, was it the other way around? They wanted more gore, so they added that scene. I don't remember specifically what it was. It's in the documentary. It's cool. I don't remember exactly, but yeah. So then he gets out of the ambulance, and ambulance crashes.
And then Dr. Lewis is just kind of on his trail because he knows.
Yeah,
he
which
knows
I
what's
do
going on
like
because
that
Michael's
about this.
evil. You know nothing about that.
I do like the way this movie is kind of paced, though. I do like how kind of Dr. Lewis is like on his trail the whole time.
The movie has a nice atmosphere. It has a nice feel to it. But I would definitely say the first half of the movie is way stronger than the last half. Mm-hmm. We can get into that a little bit more as we go on.
But yeah, so then we get our introduction to Jamie, which she's looking out the window and she sees the ambulance, or it's the ambulance parked there, right? She sees the ambulance parked outside, and then it moves. It like goes away. It like disappears or whatever. And so she's like,
it has some like kind of almost odd dream sequences.
Look to it.
Jamie.
Yeah, there was that. Yeah.
Well, like one of the main things is like she's dreaming about Michael. How does she know what Michael looks like? Like exactly what he looks like, the whole mask and everything. Like,
don't know.
It's just kind of odd. I mean, with like the way the movie ended, maybe that explains it, but I don't know, it's just a little weird.
Yeah. But yeah, so then we get our introduction to her. She carries this movie. Her and Donald Pleasance are amazing.
Yeah.
In this, and she's just, her acting is just great for a child actor. Like she's really good. But yeah, so we get her introduction. She we kind of see that Lori has since passed, and she's living with her sister and her
parents.
No, they're not sisters. They're
not sisters.
Yeah, they're
yeah, because they kind of adopted her.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they were related. I think they might have been. I don't
Well,
remember.
I think they may have. Yeah, she's like a foster kid. I'm
like
pretty sure.
the kid Jamie isn't related.
I think they
to
explain
them.
it in
Yeah,
the
they just
movie.
kind of adopt her.
Yeah.
It's not the biggest deal.
Yeah, and then well, it's just it's been a while, so I'm trying to remember.
Because that was one of the things that they kind of make mention of is like this isn't their child, this isn't her sister. That's why this girl also feels like a burden on them because she's not related to them as well.
Yeah, that's true. And then the one of the coolest parts of the movie is actually the scene where, at least in my opinion, the scene where she's having the nightmare and she sees Michael in her room, like sit up and look over at her, and then she goes to like run out the door, and he like turns around because he's like standing at the door, and then she puts his knife up, and then so there's like a couple of them almost. It was really cool, and then she freaks out and she wakes up. Her mom runs in and wakes her up, and then we cut to the next day. It is now Halloween.
Yeah.
and yeah, like there's I'm trying to remember the order of events.
I think right after is just Dr. Loomis being on his
Yep,
trail,
yep.
and then coming across like the, I think it's just like he gets to the garage next with the diner. And
Oh
stuff.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking of the Jamie stuff. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. So then,
That's a really good scene, actually.
Mhm.
Oh, then I do like. I think it visually it looks awesome when Michael has the gauze on him, and then he just like
Yeah.
stabs the guy with the. It was kind of cool because it's like the only time we've seen him kill somebody without the without the actual outfit.
that's true.
And ever, I think. I don't think he ever is outside of the outfit when he kills somebody. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a neat little scene. And that's how he gets the jumpsuit. And
Yeah.
then he, and then Dr. Loomis goes into the shop and he's looking around and he looks over and sees Michael standing there and he doesn't have the mask yet. And he's talking to him and he's like, "Take me, don't go back, and don't take her," because he knows now that he's after his niece.
Yeah.
And so then he gets away, and then now
One of the most like catastrophic getaway scenes, just like power line falls down, car explodes,
Yeah.
all this different stuff.
Dr. Loomis jumping into the
Yeah. It's like, oh, I guess their budget went up a little bit for this.
maybe a little bit, yeah. And then he drives off and in the tow truck or whatever it was. And then so, Dr. Loomis, for pretty much this whole first portion of the movie, if not majority of it, he's kind of hitchhiking and trying to get across back to Haddonfield.
He's just kind of following Michael this whole
Yeah.
movie practically.
And it is really cool the way they do it. I love his little one-liners, like when he goes and he finally gets back and he's like, "Where's Sheriff Brackett?" And he's like, "Oh, he retired a few years back." And then he's like, and then like they don't believe him. They think he's just some crazy guy. And then he's like known for it or whatever. And then it just his little one-liners that he has, especially the one like when he's talking to the new sheriff or whatever. I don't remember specifically what he says. But it's quite similar to his line in the first movie that he has. But yeah, and then so then Jamie's kind of Jamie's getting bullied at school.
Yeah, she's gonna go at school. Then like she's like shopping. She gets the Halloween costume.
And then there's the cool scene
stuff.
where the mask or the you see him like buying the mask. Whatever, you just see his hand. You see him like buying the mask, and then she like sees him in the mirror and like freaks out.
Yeah. Well, he just takes the mask, doesn't buy it. But
Oh yeah, that's right.
why,
why did I say,
Michael
why did I
Myers,
say
he's
buy?
got bandages all over his face. He's just like, one
He just
mask,
doesn't say
please.
anything. He just kind of buys it. Well, it's right. 'Cause for some reason, I thought I remember him like
Gives us the cashier
on the
like bloody
counter.
money.
I remember like the counter, so that's why I thought buy for some reason.
Yeah, it just
I
kind of
remember
like
the
showed him
counter.
like grab the mask off like a hook.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she like sees him in the mirror or something, and then she like crashes into the mirror and breaks it. She's just like, "Arr!" And then she's right before that she finds her Halloween costume that she wants, which is just like the Halloween costume that Michael had when he was a child and murdered his sister in the original. And it's like, ooh, is this just a nod? Is more gonna come out of this? We'll see. Yeah, and then
After that,
just kinda
there's sort of
gets
there's sort of the plot with what is her name? Her older sister.
the not sister, the
Yeah,
one
well,
who's taking care of her.
yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. She's making out with the boy who works there.
Her boyfriend, but then why can't I not remember her name? It's driving me nuts. But yeah, so then there's like there's the little plot where he's like with the other girl from school or whatever, and so like when they're
Yeah.
trick or treating, when she takes Jamie out to go trick or treating and everything.
You hurt my feelings.
Yeah, so like they go up to the door and you realize that they were doing stuff and
It's just really funny because they're like romantically involved, and she's like, "Oh, can't hang out tonight like I thought. Maybe we can hang out just a little bit later." And then he's just like, "Nah,
Yeah.
my feelings are hurt. I'm gonna go fuck that other girl."
Yeah. But yeah, so then and then there is a sequence kind of coming up here, I believe, shortly after this. They all the cops get involved, Loomis gets involved, they all get together, and they, because this is kind of where things are starting to sort of boil.
Then they go to like the sheriff's station, and like Michael like killed everybody.
Yep.
Which
Really,
I'm kind of sad we didn't see it.
yeah.
It's like, I understand sometimes it's better to not know what happened and just see the aftermath. But as far as that scene right there and how kind of the rest of the movie went, I'm pretty sure if they actually had that would be like the best part of the movie.
Probably.
But then again, maybe they're just like, cops, a lot of guns. This wouldn't really make too much sense.
Yeah, so let's just have it happen.
So I can
somehow.
understand why they didn't, but it's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, so then they all get together and they go back to the house, and they kind of lock themselves in the house because they the cops believe, well, because something happens where they start to realize they like know for sure that Michael is out there, and I don't remember what happens. Doesn't somebody turn up dead or somebody like?
I don't remember. Somebody died.
Yeah, so then like the sheriffs actually start to believe Dr. Loomis, so they lock themselves in the house and everything.
Well, actually, it was the sheriff's station. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, what am I?
It was the sheriff's station, and then like the neighborhood Hicks heard that on the radio or something. They knew something was up, so then they're like, "Where's Michael Myers? We're gonna go get him."
Yeah, and then
they ended up shooting somebody.
Yeah,
and
they
it's
like
you guys are
destroy that
fucking
like
retarded.
yeah.
We saw Bush move, shoot it.
But there's that really cool scene where it's quite similar to Halloween 2 actually. We just randomly killed somebody for no reason without checking first.
But then again,
there's the really cool scene with all the Michaels. The kids that are like messing with him and like they all are like different corners.
And at
they're
this
like,
point,
that's him.
this can make sense because this is 10 years later.
Yeah.
Not 2 hours later.
Yeah. So then like he's like, and they're like, that's him. And then like turn over like, wait. And then like they look over and like there's another one and there's another one.
Yeah.
I do like that scene a lot. And then like they're messing with him. And they run off.
The thing that's funny about that is like, something's going on. So you're gonna prank the cop and the dude with the gun. Out of all the people you're gonna prank, that's who you're gonna prank. The people with the guns. So you're gonna get yourself shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so then they go and they barricade themselves in the house. Which is kind of a cool thing, and like some things happen in there which are pretty cool, but I feel like this movie is kind of like where it started for people doing dumb, stupid things and dying because of it. Was this one, at least for the Halloween franchise?
Yeah. Because there's like a couple like really good scenes, like the when the cop is supposed to be sitting there with a gun.
Yeah,
And
that
then,
was
like,
a cool scene.
And then like you see it, she like turns around, he's dead, and then looks over it, finds out that he's dead, and then
there's like his body
then
in the
the
corner.
chair
and it's
turns,
just like,
and Michael's holding the
gun.
The gun is a really cool little like twist there. Just to know that like Michael's been in the house with you this time, like for a while.
Yeah.
It was really kind of has like a creepy undertone to it.
Though then there's another scene, like I appreciate that scene and everything, but there's another scene where you don't actually see what Michael did, where it's like almost like half the kills in this movie you didn't see.
Yeah.
So that's kind of odd.
Well, then there's like the little subplot with Rachel. Rachel's her name.
That's right. Rachel.
And she there's like the subplot with her and the boyfriend, and that we mentioned, and so the isn't there something with like the dad's like, you stay away from her or whatever.
Yeah, or I'll
like,
use that shotgun on you after you like gave him the shotgun when they knew someone was up.
Yeah, and then there's the but yeah, so then things start happening, and I don't remember, didn't she get, she got impaled with the gun.
Yeah,
that was kind of cool.
With the gun, yeah.
That was kind of cool. And then so then the big chase sequence happens, I think, after that.
Yeah, and then that's when this, whatever his name is, the boy toy, has a shotgun and is a fucking retard. It doesn't know how to use it. Just like shoots, misses, and then like instead of moving back and reloading, is just like standing in the exact same spot.
Well, I think he's standing his ground that way, like they can get away, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But when you're watching it, you're kind of like, hey, he can move.
But then then Michael like pushes him or whatever.
Yeah.
And at that point, he loaded his shotgun. And does he get up to go shoot him? No, he gets up and then hits him with the shotgun.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I understand choosing to hit him with the shotgun
Because
if you're like
close.
point blank. but there was enough room for you to shoot him.
Yeah. And then he grabs the gun and throws it off to the side, and then he picks him up, and like that's a cool scene.
Kind of like crushes his head.
Yeah.
Even though that was another thing where it just kind of
Didn't
cut
show.
off pretty quick.
That I think that might have been
Probably
the MPAA
editing.
just kind of
Yeah.
taking over everything.
Probably.
But then he like picks him up and like grabs his head or whatever, and then crushes his head. I
Yeah.
think. And then so then like probably one of the best parts of the movie is Rachel and Jamie running away, and they're up on the roof.
One thing that was kind of funny before they got to the roof, they go up in the attic. There's a bunch of shit in the attic. Like there's just a bunch of shit. Michael's coming up the stairs, but he's not there yet. She grabs like a chair and throws it down the stairs, and Michael's not there yet. But so then he has to like kind of walk past the chair. It's like, why didn't you just start grabbing all the shit and then throwing it and plugging up that? Like that would have at least slowed him down like quite a lot.
Yeah.
But instead you grab like one chair and throw it. It's like either you commit and throw a bunch of shit, or you just keep running.
Keep running, yeah. Especially since you're trying to get out, and then they get out the window and they're climbing up the roof and all that, and that's a really cool scene too. Like when they're trying to like kind of scale down it, and then you see Michael come over the top of the roof, and then he like tries to like.
Yeah, he first they're like coming up, and then like Jamie's like, oh, there he is, and then it's like it's kind of a funny visual because Michael's just like,
yeah,
I'm on our roof now.
yeah, and so he like comes at her and tries to stab her, and like barely misses too. Like you see her hand like slide away, and he like goes like that. Now I was like just seeing that because like he came like super close, and then so then they're going down this.
Yeah,
they're
Jamie
going down the
starts
roof,
getting down. Then he attacks Rachel,
and she's hanging off, and then
she ends up falling off.
Yeah, she ends up falling off.
And at that point, you're just kind of like, she's died. Is she good?
Yeah, because they don't show her
What's
right
going
away.
on? Yeah.
And then doesn't Loomis show up? Loomis shows up at this point, right?
I think he just shows up at the school. Because the girl runs to the school.
Yeah. So she runs over to the school, and then this is the scene that I was telling you about, where you see the mask that doesn't have. It's not like the mask from the movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the Shatner mask with the like the pink hair and stuff like that, or not the pink hair, but like the peach colored hair or whatever.
Yeah.
And you see it for like a second, like when he comes up behind Loomis, and you see like it's so clearly like, a totally different mask. That's kind of funny, but they go into the school, and that's kind of a creepy scene too. And then I don't think anything happens in the school. I think
some stuff, maybe mostly outside of the school. I don't really remember. It's just a little bit more chase stuff. I think.
Yeah, they're because like Michael.
I think Michael does walk into the school.
Yeah, because that's in the school when he shows up with the mask on. And then so the biker or the hillbilly, the guys that are.
And then Rachel shows up as well at the same time.
Yeah, so like they get out of the school, and then like the hillbilly guys show up, and they're like, we're gonna go take this guy out, or we're gonna go help you guys out or whatever, and then so they all like band together.
Dr. Loomis was in a separate vehicle or something. Why was he not in their vehicle at this point?
I don't exactly remember where he goes from that point.
Well, I think he might have left with a cop.
Maybe.
Like there was only one cop left, and he like left with him to go get more cops or something.
Maybe, yeah. And then because he had isn't there something with that where they're waiting from the next town over to like get the cops over there or something like that?
Yeah, something like
there was
that.
something like that, like they're waiting for the cops to show up, and like it's taking them forever or something.
Yeah.
Because they acknowledge that.
That's right. Okay, yeah.
They acknowledge that. I'm
So, Dr. Loomis waits in the town where Michael is supposedly, because they don't know where Michael is exactly, but they know he's in the town, and so then the hick dudes are like, we're just gonna keep on driving to get you safe away from Michael. But then little did they know, Michael was on the truck, underneath
the truck.
for some, and like even though they're all around the back of the truck and they somehow didn't see him.
You know what? I think that sets up one of the cooler like finales of the whole
for
series
sure.
though. So like honestly, like it's so weird when
fine.
you see him climbing over it, because it's like, how did you get under that? But then,
However, it doesn't really make sense once he starts killing those guys because
they don't hear.
Because they're like
driving.
There's three dudes and they're all like facing forward, but like they're kind of staggered, and then he's like killing one at a time, and they're just like. It's like, how the fuck do you not hear what's going on? I understand it's noisy, and you're outside, but you're at least gonna feel the vibrations of these dudes tussling literally less than a foot behind you.
Yeah. And I don't remember for some reason I don't remember right now. Is this Jamie and Rachel driving the car?
No, it's the main hick dude.
Yeah.
And
then how
then
do they
they're
get
in the
the truck?
passenger seat. So he kills all the
that
dudes,
they're in
and
the
then
passenger seat.
Yeah, and then he reaches in, and that's when he tears off the dude's head,
which
was
is
a cool scene.
Cool scene.
And then they end up crashing, and well,
he's like,
no, they don't
she,
crash
like, takes
right
over,
away.
and
Yeah, she
she's,
takes over,
like,
she's
driving, and he's, like,
like trying to grab her.
on the top of
I think
the
he
car.
like kind of rips her shirt. He like grabs her shirt.
I think he
and-
might grab her face or something too.
Yeah,
or something.
I think he might scratch her, but he's like trying to. He mainly just grabs her shirt a couple times, and then she like finally wises up and hits the brakes,
Yeah.
and he flies off.
Which visually, that scene looks awesome
Yeah, and then
when he's like on top of the truck. And,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
they're
yeah,
driving
it's
and
great.
he's like hanging off of it. That's a really
and
cool.
then
Slams on the brakes.
at this point, he like as soon as he flies off. When I was watching it with my girlfriend, she's just like, run him over. It's just like, you know it's coming, but she's just like it's taking too long, run him over. And so then she goes and runs him over. And that was actually pretty cool because not only does she run him over, she fucking plows him, and they fly off the road and into this little like, was it like a graveyard, or it just kind of had that feel to it?
I think so. And then there was
This
like
is
a
kinda a
well or
flat
something.
part, yeah.
There was like a well, and then so everybody shows up. The cops. I don't know if Loomis was there. Oh no, Loomis I think is
Yeah.
with Rachel and Jamie like in
Yeah.
the background or
They're-
something like that. Or
well, like first they kill him.
oh, and then Jamie goes.
So the
up.
cops are driving by, and Jamie's right at the truck, and Rachel's just like, "Stay here, don't go near Michael.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
Jamie goes over there.
get the cops' attention because they don't know exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
They're just on the road right now." So she's like, don't go near Michael." Like
Yeah.
she makes the point. So what she do? She goes near Michael
Yeah.
because she's stupid.
She's a kid, I guess. And then
and then Michael
yeah.
just like grabs her.
you see his hand like clench or something
Yeah.
like that, like he's going to, and then she's like, "Don't touch him, Jamie." And then his hand like opens back up or whatever. But then like she kind of runs back, and then you see
And then
him
that's
like
when he
get
gets up.
Yeah, and then they
And then they're just like,
they're
let's
like a
do
line.
the exact ending of the original, but make it a whole firing squad.
like and shoot him, and then he's just like, there's a lot of gifs that you can find where he's like,
Yeah,
where
he's
he's doing like the little dance thing. You can just see it. It's so funny. No, and he does kind of just look weird in that scene, like when he like gets up and his shoulders are like all kind of almost like about to show like that, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like the way the mask looks, it just looks so
he
weird.
just like kind of keeps going back. Then
Yeah.
they keep shooting. Like the scene goes on for quite a bit.
yeah, and then he falls in, and that's it. And then
you kill Michael Myers, yay!
Michael Myers is done,
And then we go back.
yeah.
To the house. Everything's good. Yay, the day's saved.
And then you
time
get the-
to give Jamie a bath. 'Cause she's a
had a
kid.
hard
day. Time little bubble bath.
Yeah.
Jamie needs a little bubble bath.
And
We're gonna
then-
give Jamie a bubble bath. Mom's gonna give Jamie a bubble bath.
And then and then we cut to first person, which great scene. Cut to first person, and then it's doing the music from the original, and she's
Does the same
walking
thing.
around, and then because I mean I imagine I don't remember specifically like what I felt when I was watching it for the first time, but I mean people had to have been like, wait, what? Like
Yeah.
what was going on? And then kills or stabs the mom or whatever, and then
Yeah, she like goes up to the mom with the knife and she screams, and then it cuts away, and then Dr. Luke's like, no.
what? He's like walking up the stairs, and then he like looks up.
like he hears the scream and he instantly knows. He's like, no.
And I love
then
the
he, like,
look on
runs
his
over to the
face too.
stairs.
Like,
yeah.
and then he like goes up to the stairs, and then he looks up, and she's right there with the
Bloody.
bloody scissors, and like, and I love his reaction so much.
No!
No, yeah, it's so good.
What's funny is like this ending is like
and it's like da, 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 da,
a
he's doing
lot
that
like
thing.
the number 3 ending, with just turn it off, turn it
Yeah,
off, no,
Well,
no.
because it's the idea of it. Like, if you think about it too, like he has just fought so hard to get rid of
Yeah.
Michael, and now she's doing it. Like the idea of that, like a child.
Oh yeah.
And so
I don't
Loomis
know
is
what
just like,
other reaction you
"No,
can
no,
have
no."
other than
yeah,
that.
I love it. I
And
love
he
it.
also like I think the cop
He
like
goes
puts the
to,
gun
like-
and he stops. Well, yeah, he stops. He
Loomis
grabs.
goes to like shoot her or something.
Yeah,
or
no,
goes
the
to,
cop
like,
does. Yeah,
Is it
that's
the
right.
cop?
No, the
cop
cop
stops
stops Loomis, and then the cop like doesn't even like. He just kind of glances and stops him. He's like, "Stop!" And then he really looks. He's like, "Fuck!" Like you
Yeah.
see the look on the cop's
And I
face
just-
as well.
Yeah,
and
and
then-
so he kind of like double takes and looks up, kind of like how I just double taked right there and forgot Michael was standing right there, and I thought. But yeah, so then and then it cuts to black with her standing there, and she's holding the scissors, and gosh, yeah, no,
solid ending.
yeah, no, I do like that ending a lot. I like the sort of finale of the
Yeah.
movie, and I like you said, like the first half's good, but there's just kind
It's
of
just
stuff
kind
in
of
there
like the middle, like all. pretty much the third act until they get in the truck. Then it starts to get good again. It's just there's a lot of just meh in the third act. I feel like, especially because you don't see a lot of the kills. And once they're in the house, it was almost underwhelming once Michael started doing his thing when they're in the house. Once they got on the roof, that's different. But when they're in the house, like, I also was a little underwhelmed.
Okay. I've always kind of liked the way the movie like played out, like because it was very different from the first.
I did like the way it played out. It was just I was hoping for a little bit more to happen with them in the house, and just kind of the way things played out when they're in the house was like, okay, like it was okay.
Yeah.
But
so what did you like? What did you think of it? Like, well, I don't know. Like, I don't want to say compare it, but like, would you say you liked the movie?
Yeah, I liked the movie. I would ultimately say it's pretty average. Maybe just slightly above average.
Oh, we missed the where he throws the guy into the power grid or whatever, and just like,
that's
zaps
right.
him. I guess that is kind of cool.
As literally,
I think everything flicker.
Literally,
and so just, like, the idea
literally
of
as soon as it gets to the scene with showing the dude there, I was just like, he's gonna get electrocuted by Michael. It's just like you can't have a setup like that and not
do it. Yeah.
And then they did it. And and that's the reason the power's out.
Yep.
And the house and everything.
That's crazy.
Kind of the reason
much
for the whole third
power went
act.
into that man.
He's fucking dead.
Yeah, he's dead. But yeah, so then, but yeah, no, I like the sequel a lot too. It's actually, I may like it more than 2 if I'm being honest, but I don't
definitely
know.
like 2 better.
You? Okay. I've always had a soft spot for 4.
Yeah, I would say that 4 is your average enjoyable slasher.
Well, and I would say too, when we, at some point we'll probably sit down and watch all of them. This is the last good one, so just so you know. But yeah, no, I enjoy this one quite a bit. A couple things too. John Carpenter actually had originally they wanted him in for this one. He was on board, and he wasn't gonna have it be Michael. Really, it was gonna be how the town, how like the whole town was like affected by him.
Okay.
And it was going to be more about the town.
So how would it be like a slasher movie then?
I don't know. I don't know if it was just going to be more of an atmospheric, creepy movie.
Because that would
like,
just be a drama at that point.
yeah, like
When
I don't know
somebody's
exactly
dying.
his like details on
Interesting.
it, but that was going to be kind of the premise of it, is how the town how the town sort of reacted to the whole thing.
You can kind of see a little bit of that influence.
Yeah.
With like all the Hicks going off and doing.
And then they were like, "Oh, you." They said, I don't remember the how it actually played out, but they basically didn't want to do that or whatever, and so he basically just gave him the middle finger and said "F you" and left, and that was it. No more John Carpenter in the series. So he also didn't do the music either. It was Alan Howarth by himself. But
That's right.
But yeah, and I do like the music pretty okay in this one too. But yeah, so and then also a lot of people think that this mask is awful, while it does look not very good. It looks very
worst,
cheesy. It's not the worst, and it's also the Shatner mask. They bought the Shatner mask, and they had to make the eye holes bigger, and then they painted over. They like got rid of the eyebrows or something like that, and like painted over the face, so it was just pale white, no expression on his face, because they got rid of the wrinkles and everything, like what
sense.
makes a facial features facial
Yeah,
features.
yeah.
Got rid of all
They
that
just made
because
it
it was just a
blank.
plain white face,
Yeah.
and then they made the eye holes bigger and stuff like that.
So,
So it completely made the mask look totally different, but it was actually the Shatner mask,
Okay.
which is kind of cool. They just morphed it like
I'd
crazy.
say that it's almost like how the Halloween 2 mask is slightly better than the first one, just because it's
In a
like
lot of
a
ways,
little bit
yeah.
dirtier, and the first one's too clean. I'd say it's like kind of the same problem with the first one being too clean, that this one's like way too clean.
Yeah, well, and I do
So-
think that the original's mask is like perfect. Like I think it's totally like, it's creepy because it's so clean and blank, and it's just white, and it's just but there's something kind of cool about 2's mask, that kind of the dirtiness of it. But yeah, Halloween 4,
Yep.
the return of Michael Myers.
As far as like the first 4 movies, I would rank this one being the last, in my opinion. It'd pretty much be first one, third one, second one, and then number 4 for me.
Yeah, I might be right around that ballpark. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think 2 and 4 are kind of right there, because there's so much in 4 that 2 didn't necessarily get right, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
anyway,
But that was our Halloween episode for the October Horror Show. If you liked it, hit like, comment, discuss with us. Remember the things that we have questions about.
Yeah, this was a long one, but definitely let us know what you guys think.
Pretty much number 3. I don't know what that thing was with Cochran dying. I'm confused. Maybe he did it on purpose. I don't know.
But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the discussion and everything.
And
So
make sure to watch our Halloween short that we made. That'll be somewhere to click on. Just make sure you watch it.
and there are some more franchise movies to come, not from this franchise,
Yeah.
but from other
So
franchises. So
stay
stay tuned.
tuned.
Hope you guys enjoyed.
Yeah.